elit global telah memenjarakan kita, Dek. Yuk, aduh, astagfirullahaladzim banget deh. Kenapa sih dia nyekap kita? Loh, Bang, kan kamu gak disekap. Kenapa diem aja? Dimakan.
Selamat datang di podcast Keluarga Artis.
Wih, elit global, help us.
Keluargaku artis, tapi akunnya bukan orang biasa. Asik.
Have you ever wondered why our podcast like Podcast Keluarga Artis, a podcast that is hosted by Mario Cesar and Niki Putra, so incredibly attractive to watch, even though they mostly consist of casual, random banter and nonsensical jokes? How do they manage to keep us hooked for hours? Well, in this video, we are going to crack the code behind this phenomenon by exploring three main questions. First, what specific factors make this podcast so attractive to the audience? Second, how do their casual conversation keep us deeply engaged? And third, how is that deep sense of intimacy constructed? It's going to be a super interesting breakdown. So, let's dive right into our very first question. So, there are actually four main factors that make podcast Keluarga Artis so attractive to its audiences. The first factor is content that feels close to real life. People are naturally drawn to others who share similar experiences and interests. In podcast Keluarga Artis, Mario and Niki talk about things that young audiences generally relate to, from childhood memories and trending topics to everyday family dynamics. These topics act as a bridge between the celebrity world and audience own reality. So, instead of feeling like they are watching entertainment from a distance, audiences feels like they are getting a glimpse into a life that is not so different from their own. The second factor is the use of casual language and viral catchphrases. People build their social identity through the groups they belong to. In this podcast, the catchphrase "Mihu Mihu"
Miu Miu, I love you. Mihu, Mihu, Mihu. Woo!
has gone viral and is now widely used in everyday conversations. When a phrase from a podcast becomes part of how people talk in real life, it means the content has gone beyond the screen and become part of a shared cultural identity. At the same time, this kind of viral spread works as organic promotion, pulling in new viewers who are curious about where the term originally came from. The last factor is the presence of guest stars. Audiences actively choose media based on the needs and satisfaction they are looking for. The appearance of guests like Aldi Taher, Kak Kev, and Raditya Dika in podcast Keluarga Artis fulfills the audience's need for fresh content and variety. Each guest brings a different energy and new perspective that keeps the podcast from feeling repetitive. And because each guest also comes with their own fan base, every new episode naturally attracts a wider audience who may not have discovered the podcast otherwise. Viewers who initially tune in for a specific guest may ultimately end up becoming loyal audiences of the podcast itself.
Now that we understand why audiences are initially drawn to the show, through relatable content, catchphrases, emotional bonds, and exciting guests, this leads us directly to our second core question, which is, how exactly do their casual conversations translate into active audience engagement? The first answer is, according to Lasky 2025, friendships are often built through common interests or things that people enjoy together. In this podcast, Mario and Niki often talk about topics that are very familiar to young audiences, such as childhood movies, favorite games, school memories, or things that are trending online. Because of that, viewers start thinking, wait, I like that too, or that happened to me as well. This feeling of similarity makes the audience feel closer to them, not like watching celebrities, but more like listening to friends. The second is that their jokes make audiences feel included. Lasky explains that parasocial interaction can make audiences feel like they are part of a public figure's social circle. Mario and Nikki often use casual humor and jokes that young people easily understand. So when audiences laugh at the same jokes, they feel like they are joining the conversation instead of just watching it. Lastly, their everyday stories make audiences feel relatable and understood. Topics like being lazy to wake up, arguing with parents, or relationship problems are things many young people experience. Even though Mario and Nikki come from a celebrity family, audiences realize that some experiences are actually the same. That creates a feeling of, oh, they are just like us. And that emotional connection is what makes people keep watching and become loyal audiences.
By using these everyday stories and inside jokes, Mario and Nikki successfully turned casual viewers into loyal digital friends. But how do they make this bond feel so incredibly real? This brings us to our final and most fascinating question. How is this deep sense of intimacy constructed behind the scenes? Irving Goffman, 1959, argued that all human interaction is a performance. We have a front stage, our polished, public-facing self, and a backstage, where we're unfiltered and real. Podcast Keluarga Artis works because they give audiences the illusion of backstage access. The camera is still on, the episode is still edited, but it doesn't feel that way. This is what scholars call a staged backstage, performing the unscripted so well that audiences can tell the difference. There are three ways Podcast Keluarga Artis constructs this intimacy. First, the format that signals, oh, this is real. Conversation go off topic, the editing stays intentionally imperfect, and the whole thing feels more like stumbling into a family gathering than watching a TV show. All backstage signals that tell the audience, this is just everyday life. Sharon and Joan 2024 add that in podcasts, intimacy is built through tone and the feeling of being directly spoken to. Even the name Orang-Orang Waras, what Mario and Nikki call their audience every single episode, works as an inclusion strategy, making viewers feel like they belong to the same circle, not just watching from the outside.
Alhamdulillah nih kita kedatangan Tante Iis, ya mamanya adik Niki nih. Alhamdulillah.
Tante telepon, ada HP, udah ada HP kan zaman dulu.
Oke.
Eki di mana? Di luar mah, di luarnya di mana? Di pojok mah enggak kok, di sini, di sininya di mana? Pulang. Iya sebentar lagi pulang. Enggak pulang juga. Udah tante bawa sapu lidi, tante keluar. Bener ada di pojok sama kawan-kawan kuliahnya kan?
Di komplek.
Di komplek iya.
Komplek.
Oh.
SD.
Oh iya.
Tapi kan itu udah jam 2.
Iya.
Terus kamu bilangnya gimana, mah?
Iya tante keluar pakai daster kan, biasa ibu-ibu. Jadi tante bilang, Eki pulang. Kaget kan, pulang nggak kamu? Tante lempar sapu lidinya. Tante lempar sapu lidinya, itu bubarkan mereka. Saat sakit dan mungkin papanya udah tahu lah itu udah nggak lama lagi kali ya. Jadi papanya cuma bilang, tolong, aduh jadi sedih. Tolong bahagiakan adik.
Tuh. Tugas lu juga.
Kan lu bahagia terus.
Karena saya nggak bisa bahagiakan adik itu loh. Terus tante di situ janji, insya Allah semampu saya akan bahagiakan anak-anak.
And last one, when validation turns viewers into believers. Audiences had heard Mario and Nikki's family stories for months. When Tante Is walked in and confirmed all of it, the chaos, the warmth, the broom incident shifted from entertaining to believable. According to parasocial relationship theory, Horton and Wall in 1956, this sense of genuineness is what converts casual viewers into loyal audiences. They stop feeling like spectators and start feeling like they are part of the family. So to wrap everything up, what looks like just a random chat or silly jokes is actually a super smart way to connect with people. Mario and Nikki succeed because they don't just make a show, but they build a real connection with their audiences. By showing their real, messy everyday life and talking about things that we all go through, they lose that distant celebrity vibes. Instead, they feel like real friends. They give young audiences a place to feel understood and like they truly belong.